毎度、海先輩です。久しぶりです。お元気でしょうか？暑くない？蒸し暑くない？ Today, we're going to be talking in English. That's right. I think that after a while, I get a little tired, I guess, of like trying to think in Japanese. And so, like, if I can't really think clearly in Japanese anymore, then we got to think in English. And that's okay because you guys are going to think in English with me. So, welcome to the show. I'm glad that you're here. And I want to show you something over here because this is going to be kind of always in the background as we are thinking together about everything that I'm saying, right? I always want to make sure that you guys are like literally trying to speak English. So everything that I say is all about you guys speaking English. Now, last week, we had a very interesting interaction with Emily. And I don't know if you guys were paying attention or not, but Emily came on and we had a little conversation. Now, I spoke too much because I have a bad habit of talking too much. But Emily was able to share her story, and I was able to send her a private like review of her English. Now, I haven't heard back from her yet because, you know, this is just like this happened last week or whatever. But I do want you guys to know that I am here and I'm ready to listen. So what I'm going to do, because look, every single week, every single day, somebody new is downloading my dictionary, Aura English HD. So this live stream is for you. Everybody that downloads this dictionary that I have, I am here to like literally support you in your quest to speak more like, well, a native speaker, right? And so I'm giving you the tools and I'm giving you the guidance and I'm giving you the time to like actually get better, because everything you're going to learn here, like this is like what, once a week, you're going to be like, okay, cool, I learned a little something. But you're going to go out into the world and then you're going to be like talking to people, and then you're going to be like, damn, I should like write that down, I should make a flashcard, I should do everything Kai Senpai says, right? And you're going to notice you're going to get better. So basically, this powerful hour, the power hour that we have here together is super crucial for a lot of you guys if you want to, you know, like legitimately try to get better. Like there's so many kind of like apps and like teachers and videos. I am all about you kind of like tuning in to your, I don't know, like native frequency. Like, I don't know how else to put it, right? And so when I do the review of your English, right, I kind of like really see it like a frequency, right? Watch. Oh wait, here, I'll do it on the mic. I wonder if that picks up in your mic or in the mic, right? But anyway, it's a tuning fork. And so, you know, like California English has this kind of like tune to it, so like this frequency. And so all you got to do is kind of like match it. That's kind of the name of the game. But, you know, what are the details? Like, how do you match it? Like the way that they teach English in school, like they don't say, it's like totally different. You know what I mean? So that's why when you watch your own English review, you get super clarity, because like, and then Emily can, you know, when she hops back on, because it takes time to process when I review your English, because like you'll be like, oh damn, like I say this, I should work on this, you know what I mean? And so it gives you like a whole week to like practice, rehearse, maybe talk to somebody new, you know what I mean? Because like you just don't realize the mistakes that you're making. So this hour is for everybody that downloads my app. And if you haven't downloaded my app, the dictionary, go ahead, download the dictionary because it's super crucial. But check it out because you're going to be able to learn the California English, American English, by listening and taking some notes, but mainly listening. And what are we going to listen to? We're going to listen to our own voice. All right. So this is what this hour is about. And so if anybody needs any help, jump on the Zoom. If I catch you, I will chat with you, right, on the Zoom. But otherwise, I'm going to assume you have no questions, which is good because I don't want to be your teacher. I am Kai Senpai. You know what I mean? So basically, I just want to remind you that you can do it. You can get out there by yourself and kind of like, what's the word? Learn by yourself. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to learn English for you, right? Like, what are you going to do? Like have AI translate everything? Like what a boring life that would be, right? So you just got to focus on what matters. And what matters is focusing on the sounds of English, right? And so when you listen to native English, you got like the American English, or first of all, the British English, right? And if you look at the number of people, it's like 83 million, I think. That's the number. I'm not really good with my numbers right there, but you can see like the British English has that many speakers, right? And so that's one of the flavors that you can choose if you want to, speak like a native person, right? So debut san says こんちくわ どうも、カイ先輩です。いらっしゃいませ。どうもどうも。Thanks for coming by today as we continue our little story here because we have the Southern Hemisphere. We got the Australian and New Zealand and the South African, like Elon Musk. So anyway, that's like 96 million, right? And so basically, at the end of the day, if we really want to talk about speaking like a native speaker, basically, there's just a lot of people with the American accent. That's why it's so, I don't want to say popular because it's not like I had any choice, but that's why it's just there's a lot of people that speak with this accent. So, I don't want to say standard because it's not the standard, but it is widely available or widely used, if that makes any sense. So it's like they don't teach you this, 中学生、中1ね。なんか OCA みたいなあるじゃん。オーラルコミュニケーションみたいな授業あるじゃん。で、どうぞアメリカ英語にするか、イギリス英語にするか、それともなんか南半球の英語の訛りどうでしょうか。中学校の1年生が、何の話ってね、なっちゃうんだよね。でも、こういう話、本当もう10歳の子供にするべきだと思うんですよ。ね。なんか僕はどうするね、僕。アメリカ英語にするか。ね。違うか。アメリカ英語が多いからいいんじゃないのみたいなね。だから、カイ先輩は、こういう、レッスンやってるんですよ。ね。だってみんな知らないと思うよ、これ。ね。違うか。みんな知ってんのこれ。Mickey's Piano from America. Good evening, Kai Senpai. Good evening, Mickey. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for coming by, and I'm glad that you're here. Did you know that 7 out of 10 native speakers, listen to this, 7 out of 10 native speakers speak with an American accent, like Canadian, American, or Caribbean accent. Isn't that crazy? So just think about it. And this is just English speakers, right? Just because you see like 外国人ね, you're like, 7 out of 10 are American じゃなくて 7 out of 10 English speakers, okay? Big difference. Really big difference. So 7 out of 10 English speakers are going to have an American accent. That is pretty crazy. And I never knew that. I never thought about that. I never processed that. You know what I mean? Like I never really thought about it. But if you really want to think about it, guys, you gotta like really listen, because the Australian accent, the New Zealand accent, the South American accent, they're totally different. Right? They're totally different. You see that. You can hear it, right? And I'm not going to even try, good day, mate, right? Like shrimp on the barbie. Let's go out and wrestle a crocodile. No, wait, they called alligators down there, yeah? I don't know. Like, I don't speak Australian or South African. Yeah, the South African, they say, yeah. It's a little different, eh? Like, I don't know, to be honest. And it's embarrassing for me to even try. So I'm just going to stop because I don't know it. But then you get into the American accent or the Canadian or the Caribbean, right? Again, you got to know your accents, but they're all different, especially the Caribbean one. It depends on what island you go to, but Bermuda would be different than Jamaica, right? So like, this is just general flavor, right? And then, of course, when you go to England, you got the Welsh, the English, and the Scottish, and the Irish accent, and they're all different, right? So you pick one. That's it. And I don't know which one you're going to pick, because you got to like really think about this, like this is like big news. Could you try speaking in the British accent from now on a bit? It is possible. However, it's not preferred. I prefer a neutral accent like Kansas or Californian, Western side, right? But, the difference is that the Californian accent is, I haven't really talked to somebody from Kansas. I spoke to a man from Kansas the other day, and he was quite naive, to be honest. He came to California thinking, you know what? He came to California on a mission from God. I swear to God, he came up. He came up to me. I was on the street here in California, and he came up to me, and he was like, "Do you know Jesus Christ?" And I was like, "Are you joking me?" Well, of course I know him. Like I've read my Bible. I know him. But this guy from Kansas, he came up to me in California as if he had something to say. Like as if he had something to teach me, but he'd never probably left a cornfield in his life. You know what I mean? How does a man who's never left a cornfield, what's he going to tell me? As a Californian, I've been places. I've seen things with my own eyes. You know what I mean? He's coming to me from a cornfield and he's telling me, have you heard of the Jesus Christ and Lord and Savior? Well, get off it, mate. You know what I mean? How's that for my British accent? No. No, man. Do you think California accent is only one? No. There's like different, like even saying California accent is not 100% correct, because there's different California accents depending on north or south, right? But then also too, kind of like your heritage and your background also plays a role in it as well, like all native accents, right? So again, they're just all different flavors, but there's so many, and Japanese people know nothing about any of them. You know what I'm saying? So here we are talking about it. We're like, oh yeah, we got this and we got that. But this should be common knowledge. You know what I mean? But we don't talk about it enough. So here we are actually having a conversation about it. So yeah, like the kind of the point, of the story then is that you should just pick an accent that you like, And so, how about the Welsh accent, as you can see here, the Welsh accent comes in. That's a lot of people. So, how about it? But to be honest, it's so rare. So, like, my aunt has one of these accents, and I understand it when I hear it, but like, that's just not, it's not normal by any means. Flavor, right? It is like a flavor. There's like no, I mean, like literally, like if you think about like kare, then kansai no aji no kare, right? There's like a same kind of thing, but like with the language, there's a difference. There's a twang, but yeah, a flavor, right? I feel like your British accent is easier to listen because I am Japanese. It is possible. Um, it is very possible that it is easier to hear for certain people. It is, but to be honest, it's harder for me to actually talk because then you have to like literally think about everything that you're saying unless you're good at it, right? And I don't practice it, and there's no need for me to practice, so I'm not gonna. But in your life, if you're trying to get out there and have more conversations with people in English, right, and maybe communicating with other people is kind of a struggle, then picking an accent would really help make your English more easy to understand. You know what I mean? Because it's like otherwise, then I have to learn a British accent just for you, and I would like to. I mean, you seem like a cool person and stuff, but that's a lot of effort on my part. And so, like at what point do I have to change my accent for the internet? Because when I broadcast to the internet, it's like I can't think of everybody all at once. So, you just have to like pick a voice and go. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty confident with the California accent. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to waste any time for me personally on my own accent unless I had to. I've heard Manchester and Scottish. Scottish is a bit harder. Scottish is I can't do it. You can't do it. I can't do it at all. Scottish. But I love you who speak American accent. Thank you. And, just to be clear, it's a California accent. So, don't get too confused because I could keep going now here in this Southern accent. So, because, there's different flavors and all them flavors are all different. And you look at here, you got the New Zealand accent and there's a lot of people that talk like it. But then again, not as many as Ireland. There's more Irish. No, you know what? In fact, it's so close. Look at that. New Zealand, you got Ireland, they're just off by a hair. You see that? Right there, hair. There's the hair difference right there. Right there, there's a hair difference right there. But then if you look over there, another hair of difference because Scotland is coming in here at 549. That's a lot of people that talk like in a funny accent. You know what I mean? That's like, funny. It's funny to my ear because I don't listen to Scottish accent on the day to day. You know what I mean? I'm listening to people being all like, "Hey man, what's going on?" でもなんか日本語になっちゃってすいません。なんかこうやってね、訛りの遊びしたらさ、なんか誰何みたいな主語がないみたいな何の話みたいなね。だからすいません。I mean accents, not access. Sorry. No, that's fine. We just pick up the accents. We just speak of the different accents around the Well, also too, like, is it really irritating? Like, I know for sure not being able to communicate is irritating. Does that make sense? So, there's always a give and take between having fun, being yourself, and actually communicating, right? But everything really does come down to accents, if you do the math kind of thing. So, and, coming back to the math, you come down here to the Caribbean, and you got down right there, like a lot of people right there. And there's a lot of people who talk like that, and I can't do it. So, like, I'm not even going to try, but there's a lot of people right there that can do that. Now, you go down further south there, and you get like a real Southern accent, you know what I'm saying? And it comes in, I don't know that number in English, to be honest. So that's a lot of people. That's a big number. That's all I know. But then, go up north, there is a lot of people that talk like that from Canada. And Canada is a big country. So you got to, go over there to Canada and be wrestling with them, polar bears and ice and stuff like that in Canada. So a lot of people there. But even more than that, as you can see, there is a lot of people down there in Africa that actually speak native English. I know people just don't think about it, but it's true. So, you got to include them, but that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people, but, they're not a lot of them hanging out here in California, you know what I mean? So you go up to here, now back down to, the alleged source of all English, you know what I mean? But that's a lot of people right there. You should go for it, learn the British English. Why not? Because it's a lot of people talk like that, I'm not even sure if I'm from Britain or not right now, but you could switch over there, and it's natural if you practice it, but I don't practice it. So あらはばきってあれ俺の真似ですかあれはいすいません。そうだよね。まあそれで俺の何の訛りでイギリスの訛りで話してたよね。Well, then, because, like you're looking at that number right there. But just to close out the little story here that we got going on, because that's a lot of people, y'all. Because, like, look here. Like, you go down here to number 3, right? No. Let's come down here to number 5. You know what I mean? This is like number 5 right here. And then we got number 4 right there. And then we got number 3 right there. It's like, all right, it's just gradually getting bigger. You know what I mean? It's just gradually, you know what I mean? There's just like that, just a skosh. You know what I mean? It's just like a skosh. Just a little there. And then all of a sudden right there at the, bam, right there. Lickety split. You see that there? Well, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of goddamn people. So what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Because there's so many different flavors out there, but this is by far the most popular. You know what I mean? And, to be honest, within that American, there's even more within there. You know what I mean? So, you got to pay attention to the way that you're talking. That's it. I mean, that's it. You just got to really just pay attention to what's coming out of your mouth. Just kind of like right now, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of like talking right now and kind of focusing. I'm not even really sure which side of the river I'm on right now. I think it's more on the west side of the Mississippi, but, I can't be certain because, like, I'm not really sure. But I'm paying attention to the way that I'm speaking, and, I do okay. But what about you? You guys have any questions, please ask me. Like I said, there's a lot of people that have been downloading the dictionary or English HD 英語から OK 辞書ね。あれ、無料ダウンロードだから、どうぞ、ダウンロードしてください。それで、毎週ね、こういうセミナーみたいなライブストリームやって、何か質問があればどうぞ、みたいなね。でも質問がないでしょう。だって、アクセントだよね、みたいなね。じゃあ、どうぞ話してみてくださいって感じですね。誰かと。で、今、Zoom のリンクが載せてるから、あれ、もし、 はい、先輩とおしゃべりしたかったらどうぞ、あれクリックしてくださいね。で、アプリのあれがこれですね。もしそれダウンロードしたかったら、これを、どうぞ使ってくださいね。で、1000人とすぐ会話してくださいって感じですね。1000人どっかにいるから。ね。東京にいるかもわかんないし、大阪におるかもわからんし、ね、探せばね、1000人がいるからさ、どうぞ探してください。英語の1000人。で、その英語の1000人と英語で話してください。で、何か失敗があれば、何かわからない言葉があればね、これ、辞書検索してください。すごく簡単だよ。で、辞書を調べてからフラッシュカード作ってくださいね。で、それを復習する。こうやって毎日誰かと会話して、失敗して、フラッシュカード作って、そのフラッシュカード繰り返してリハーサルすれば、上達しますよ。上達しますよ。ね。だから、ぜひ、なんだろうね。英語の勉強って、辛いっていうか、つまんないっていうか、役に立たない合ってる日本語。ね。これやってみてください。面白い。知ってるこのバックグラウンドの色って、この母音のすべての音なの。ね。あ、い、う、え、おみたいな。ね。ここに色で書いてある。ね。書いてあるっていうか、書いてあるよね。はい。音波みたいな感じですね。違うか。だから、もうこうやって、宣伝してるから、アプリのあれが上がってます。ダウンロードの確率が上がってます。だから、報奨、無料ダウンロードだけどね。無料ダウンロードですけれども、報奨的にこうやってサポートしてます。全員に。で、今のところって、1万、ちょっと待って、1000万、1万5000人かながダウンロードしてる。でももう最近ちょっとプッシュしてるから、なんかこれからよろしくって感じですね。人数が増えるからこれからよろしくね。今のところって一番少ないっていうかな。だってこれからって感じ。なんかダウンロードしてる方が増えるからね。このライブストリームになんか本当に人が増えるかもわかんないから、これからよろしくね。なんだろうね。アプリの話しすぎたくないんだけど、いや、本当にアプリをダウンロードした人に今アピールしてますね。本当に何かお質問があれば、どうぞ。でも質問がなかったら、じゃあぜひ、早く現実に出て、誰かと話してください。誰かと英会話してください。ね。本当にもう、こうやってネットの動画じゃなくてね、もう早く外に出て誰かと話してくださいって感じですね。頑張ってくださいって感じですね。ネットで英語の勉強できないと思うんですよ。違うか。いや、でも本当に、俺、だって、なんだろうね。なんか日本語学んだとき、インターネットっていうことなんだろうね。なかったんだよね。ポケベル時代だったんだよね。恥ずかしい。はい。よろしくお願いします in English. I don't know that you can't translate that. It's hard. You can't. I remember the first time somebody told me to say it. I was like, what? What does that even mean? It was in Japan, and the teacher, he spoke Japanese, right? And so I think that I remember being in the room, and I guess I was on the phone, and the teacher told me, tell Kotani sensei, yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And I was like, why? That doesn't mean hello. It doesn't mean goodbye. It doesn't mean genki desu ka. What does that mean? I didn't even know what it like. I was like, okay, whatever. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And she said yoroshiku onegaishimasu back. And I said, hey, she said yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And he's like, okay, thanks. I was like, what just happened? What did you say? Did you say hi? Like I totally didn't understand what was happening. So, you know, いや、よろしくお願いしますって英語で、いや、わからんよ。今でもわかんないよ。でも、言った方がいいタイミングがわかってるよ。わかる？まあ、だから食べる前に、こう、いただきますって言うべきやろ。電車乗るところ、いただきますって、もうダメだよね。おかしいよね。だから食べる前にこういただきますみたいなね、なんか順番ね。でもよろしくお願いしますのタイミングね、なんかセンスがあるよ俺。違うか。Yeah, but we don't say that. That's what I'm saying. Like nobody says like the literal translation. I mean somebody, but it's, look, よろしくお願いします is said every single minute somewhere in Japan, right? I do not at all say thank you in advance on the regular, if that makes any sense. So context is everything. And I think that よろしくお願いします is just really a cultural, unique phrase in Japanese that just does not translate directly. So you can't do it. You can only talk about circumstances or situations in which you would say it. Like I said, 食べる前にいただきますって、right? よろしくお願いします。Then you start eating. People are like, what? You're saying the wrong thing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's all about that context. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So if you give me the context, then I can translate it. But without the context, I cannot translate it. It's that simple. Because Japanese to English, sometimes you really got to be a human to understand it. You know what I mean? Like it's not a dictionary translation. So little things like that come with experience. So don't get too caught up in the, how do I say this word? You know, like, no, it's like, what do I say in this situation? That's what you need to learn. So yeah. And that's what I say. That's why I say I am here for you guys and these questions and to be as honest as possible. You know what I mean? Because like there is a point where it's like, well, if you just want to know the meaning of a word, right? But then this is why Mickey's question is so good, because it's like, well, what do you do in the case of words with multiple meanings or words that have ambiguous meanings, right? Well, so it depends on the circumstance, right? But there's definitely a way to express yourself with just like the way, you know, an American would, right? So again, learning how quote unquote we think, you know, comes from experience, right? And so the more you talk to quote unquote us from, you know, English speakers, then the more you get used to it, right? So that's all I'm saying. So yeah. Message retracted. All right. So anyway, so guys, as far as the Zoom, last week, me and Emily did a quick one. And like I said, I talked way too much. I'm sorry about that. But, you know, this is kind of the job that I have, is to become like oshaberi. So me and Emily did it, and I sent her the reaction, the review to it, and it's just like a lesson. I hope she's happy with it, but I just sent it last night because I was kind of busy. So basically, I want to continue to do the 顔のない英会話ね。で、もし君がね、今参加したかったらね、どうぞ、Zoom のリンクあるんじゃない？あれクリックして。あれ、シェアしたよね。シェアしましたよね。ちょっと待って。ありますよね。はい。ペンにしましたよね。はい。じゃあ、もう一個、あれ、まあ、じゃあ、replace pen message。じゃあ、これ、まあ、これピンしますね。Zoom ね。じゃあ、Zoom のあれを、シェアしましたね。もし、こういう、顔のない英会話したかったらね、これに出てくださいね。Zoom のリンククリックして。それで、まあ、こっちからね、海先輩から、一つ、二つ、三つの質問して、まあ、5分ぐらい、君の英語聞くだけ。俺はここではね、ライブストリームやりながら顔も出ないし、まあ、俺のレビューはない。こうやって生放送でね。君は顔のない英会話に出て、ズームして、もうマイクだけにして、ね。顔を見せたかったらいいんだけど、見せなくていいよ。顔のない英会話に。それで、ズームのリンククリックして、まあ、君の英語を聞く。それだけ。今日はね。で、このライブストリームの動画を撮って、カイ先輩は、まあ、君の英語のレビューしますね。あ、この発音がいいね。あ、この発音がちょっとね。そんな感じね。で、その動画を、レビュー動画を君にメールで送ります。大丈夫ですね。で、もし、やりたくなかったら、いいよ。正直に。カイ先輩は、あれなのね。動画忙しいのね。実は。でもまあ、これ、あれ、なんていう、辞書をダウンロードしてくれた人の、あれですからね。サービスって感じですね。だから、よろしくお願いします。違うかタイミングが合ってるかね。はい。でも、もしやりたくなかったら、まあ、それでもいいよ。まあ、なんだろうね。本当だ、Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Doing the review, there's no problem with it. Like, it is what I do, and I like doing it. It's just that I haven't fully created the space in my head to like organize how to do it like quickly, you know what I mean? Like I'm still kind of like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? Right? Because if I was to listen to 10 of you guys, right? That would take like a whole week of my time to like make the video, you know? That's like a serious commitment. So if we're going to do it, well, one, I want you to be serious because two, I'm going to be serious about this. I want to show everybody, well, hey, this is how you get better. You take a look at the data and you fix it. You do something about it. And the number one problem with education is the student doesn't know that the student doesn't know. We all get into our subconscious routines and programs, and we make mistakes because, you know, there's so many details when it comes to speaking a language, right? But once you have like the compass in your head, the accent is the key, and all you got to do is mimic real people, then you can take all the mistakes that you make as the stepping stone to your path to improvement. So all of a sudden, the wall of confusion disappears and becomes a path to enlightenment. So seriously, if you guys are not in the mood to be like, whoa, wait, I don't want to go too deep today, that's fine. I get it. Maybe you want to practice by yourself. Well, that's why you can go to my app and practice by yourself. I've got lessons up there. I've got the flashcard system, and you can like practice, you know, like work on your pronunciation, you know, listen to the lessons and like mimic it, right? Like there's a lot you can do by yourself before you go public, and that's fine. But if you're like, no, I'm ready, I'm public and I'm ready to go, well, let's double check. You know what I mean? Like if you're ready to go, then hop on the Zoom and I'll just listen to your English and I'll double check. Pretty cool, right? So Mickey says, divide into small parts and translate into Japanese as a mix of many meanings. Small into English. Yeah. In short videos. So many sounds. Oh yeah, right? Okay. Yeah. No, yeah, see? Like that would be a good video too. And that's what I'm saying. That when nobody understands English, how are they going to teach you? You know what I mean? And so if I say to you, how many vowel sounds are there in Japanese? A, I, U, E, O. 5つ。正解。終了. That is an easy question. However, how many vowels are in the English language? You get nothing but confusion. Utter confusion. And I swear, if I keep making that video, it will go on for 1,000 people. There will be 1,000 people and 1,000 people don't know the answer. I swear. And not only that, because I can literally, because like in that Kyoto video, I talked to 41 people. So そのままね, if I keep filming, eventually I can film 1,000 people and all 1,000 people would not be able to answer the question. Isn't that おかしくないって感じ? Japanese, how many vowels? 5. Okay, English, how many vowels? Nobody knows. And I'm never going to tell the answer because like I really want people to think about it. Like to me, it's like painfully like a viral video, you know? So, I don't know. I got busy because like 芸能人の動画ね、まああれだからね、もう見られてるからね、クリックされてるからね。で、まあ京都行った時、ちょっとかけてみようかなと思ってね、ストリートの動画をまあ作品って感じですね。プロデューサーとして監督としてね。で、まあできると思ってやったんだけどね。まあなんだろうね。時間かかる。だって練習、時間かかるんだけどね。1ヶ月ぐらいかかったんだよね。あれ、本当に、ちゃんとしたかったからね。でも長くて、長すぎかなわかんないけど。だからまあそういうストリートの動画を、まあ、やってもいいんだけど、そこまで詳しくないから、タロサックみたいな、そこまで詳しくないから、なんだろうね。疲れるし、毎日やりたくないし、どうだろう。ね。ストリートインタビューのあれ、別にやりたくないしね。ただ面白いなと思って、誰も知らないから。本当に。今でもね、なんか友達に聞いても、今でも本当にもう誰も知らないから面白い。まあ、am I like the only one that thinks it? But whatever. So, but yeah, eventually maybe I'll do another video like that. Maybe. I can try shorter. Well, if anybody wants to hear the real story behind the scenes, right? Oh, wait, you guys, do you want to hear the story? Okay, I'm going to make this my last story because you guys today don't want to do a Zoom, which is fine. Don't worry about it. Doing a Zoom, like, only if you're serious, okay? Because, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to review your English, and I'm going to, like, do the color system. That's what I say. Like, we'll talk to Emily if she comes back another time. I just gave it to her last night, so she didn't have time to prepare and listen to it. But basically, like, it's a real deal. Like, if you want me to review your English, it's not like getting a drawing done at the fair. You know, it's like a really big thing that you should take more importantly than your TOEIC score. English. Native speaker do not think of consciously. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that native speakers don't understand English and then they teach it. That's the problem. You see? It's not your problem. You're not the problem. It's like literally the teachers don't know how to teach the language. And it starts with sound. 文字より音だからさ、あいうえおってかきくけこって書いてなくて言ってるんじゃないですか。だからその音の方が基本だから。ね。で、英語でもね、ABC みたいなね。いや、あれはね、あれは文字。まず、音だから、あいうえお的なレッスンがないよね。英語では。だって ABC って歌ってもね、A からいくつの発音がするか。って感じ。What? 何の話してんのって。まあだから、いくつの発音がすんのみたいなね。で、みんなこれで混乱するんだよね。このポイントで。で、何の話、だからいいから何の発音、いくつの発音あるかって。ネイティブスピーカーでも知らないじゃん。だからどうやって教えるかって。その音の、その言語の材料分かってないのって感じ。アイアンマン、Thank you. GOAT ってgreatest of all time でしょ？ありがとう。すごい優しい。So, yeah, exactly. Native speakers do not understand their own, whatchamacallit, their own language. And that's why the teachers don't know how to teach. Because they literally don't understand their own language. I hope that makes sense. Like, seriously? Like, 今度ね、次の英語の人と会話になったチャンス、ところで、アルファベットの A からいくつの発音があるか、How many sounds does the letter A make? 聞いてみたら、ね。絶対わかんないよ。絶対わかんないよ。1じゃないし、4じゃないし、5じゃないし、ね。なんだろうね。面白くない？ But, yeah, give it a shot. We'll see. Because, like, seriously, that is, like, by far the most amazing thing is that English teachers don't know how many sounds the letter A makes. So, and I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, just trying to be logical as fuck about this because it's like, how many vowels does Japanese have? 5, like end of lesson, a, I, U, E, O, kaki, ku, ke, ko. We're talking about vowels, right? So it's not that complicated. But if I ask the same question about English, there's multiple answers depending on who you talk to. And that is not a system. That is chaos. And that is why I have the dictionary that brings order to the chaos. There is no confusion if you think in terms of accent. So, American English, British English, right? This dictionary, アメリカ英語しか入ってない。今のところね。まあ、1億人とかね、なんかあれぐらい人数が、まあわかんないけど、今度ね、イギリス英語の辞書も作れるよ。ただその色のカラーシステムね、そのイギリス英語に合わせないといけないんだけど、できるよ。実は。ただ、ね、俺コーディングできなくてさ、まあ、それはなんか別の話にしとこうね。でもまあ、とりあえず、ね、 君の英語の先生は多分このパズルの答えが知らないと思うよね。違うか。So anyway, yeah, I think that's a nice, good little place to leave all this because, like I said, the background of everything that I'm doing right now is that I am definitely promoting the app because I want you guys to have the tool in your pocket. You know what I mean? But also, too, that means now that I know that I'm promoting the app, now is time for me to make a very good video. And I don't know if you guys know, but do you guys know how to make a YouTube video? That becomes a different story. 君の英語に関してね、終了。ちょっと海先輩の話ですけれども、いい正直に。なんだろう。建前みたいな本音的に、なんだろう。ちょっといいさ、海先輩じゃないです。もう本人です。I want everybody to download the app. Like a million people, okay? So I'm going to make a video. And the video is going to be seen by a million people. Maybe 2 million people. Maybe 3 million people. I don't know. You know. But then of that, you know, like 10% see the video about the app and they're like, oh my God, this makes sense. I want to download it. I want to try it. And then they'll come here to this live stream, right? Because I'm going to email them and I'm going to say, hey, I'm here to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, great. If you don't, great. Go out and go talk to people because I'm not here to be your teacher. I'm just like, here's the path. You know what I mean? よろしくお願いします。So basically, how do you make a video? How do you make a YouTube video? Headline, thumbnail, and, you know, the story, right? I personally have learned that I talk too much. So I am learning to be more precise. That means talking less, getting more to the point, and then just presenting that, you know? Because what I'm saying isn't that complicated. It doesn't take 10 minutes, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, there's the point. 何々さんの英語ネイティブですね。なんかアメリカ人に聞こえるよね。みたいな、もう、だって10秒だけでわかるよ。いつも。なんか、もう4分、5分の動画でもね、もう10秒だけでもうアメリカ人やん。帰国子女じゃん。なんだろう。なんか味があるからね。だからまあ、なんだろうね。カイ先輩、ちょっとおしゃべりじゃないって感じ。まあわかんないけど。だから動画に関して長い方がいいってよく言われるからね。あ、じゃあ長い方作ろうか。ね。でもなんだろう。多分みんな途中でもう、はいはいって感じになっちゃうね。はいはいはい。もう分かってるからね。後期はイギリス英語ね。はいはいはいはいはいはい。だから、じゃあ編集だけちょっとなんかやり直さないと、いろいろ気がついてんのね、最近。自分のアプローチに関して。だから、これからの動画ね、ちょっとね、もうちょっと強く編集する。それだけ。でもそうすると、まあ逆に、まあ、プズーってなっちゃうかもね。パズルわかんない。なんか AI と話してるんですけれども、だって YouTube のあれ教えてよみたいなね。だって AI でしょわかるでしょアルゴリズムのあれわかるでしょだから教えてみたいな。でも、まあ教えてくれたよね。AI が。いや、あれにしてよ。90 まあ1分から3分の動画作ってよって。でって、いや、長すぎって言われた。だから、まあ最近の動画ね、まあもうちょっと、なんていう、90秒ぐらいだね。で、AI によると、それはいいよって。そのまま。だから、なんだろうね、わかんないけど。だって YouTube の動画の作り方って、俺の専門ではないよ。君の英語をやり直すことが俺の専門だね。君と話すことが専門だよね。でも、マンツマン的に、ね、まあ、君が、ね、優勝するんですけれども、いや、みんなにシェアしたいから、まあ、こうやってライブストリームとか動画作ってるんじゃない。で、まあ、動画の方を見ると、1,700,000 views, or, like, まあ、なんていうぼちぼちじゃない俺の YouTube のあれ。だからまあ、いろいろ分かってるんだけど、YouTube のあれじゃないよ。専門者じゃないよ。いろいろ分かってるって感じやけど、詳しく分かんない。でも最近、その AI にちょっと教えて。ちょっと分かんない。なんていう YouTube の先生いないじゃん。ね。YouTube にもしもし、すいません、俺の動画がなんかバズってないんだけど、みたいな、サポートみたいな、ないよ。コールセンター、ないよ。もしもし、YouTube? どうも、海先輩ですけれども、はい。はい、待ちます。なんかないよ、そんな。だから自分で研究しないといけない。ね。で、なんだろう。こうやってライブストリームやりながら、みんなと喋りながら、まあ、なんだろう。いろいろ、研究できますね。でも、その動画の長さに関して、あれに関して、俺全然長い方がいいと思ってたら、その AI が、いや、短い方がいいよって言われて、じゃあ、やってみましょう。研究としていいんじゃないかなと思って、まあ、そっちの方が、ちょっと忙しいの。Pronunciation and accent. Yeah. Japanese tend to get them mixed up. Exactly. Yeah. And this is why I'm talking about it, because this should be obvious. Everybody should know. But because we don't talk about it, we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what is happening because nobody talks about it. And English speakers don't know the problem. So, it all comes back full circle that, hey, the solution is go talk to real people, go mimic what you hear, right? And then, practice, keep practicing, and then talk to more people. Like, you literally got to have a system of talking to people. You have to socialize, you have to go out. And if you're scared of talking to people, well, 英語の問題じゃないじゃないね。あれは、なんだろう。自分自身の問題なんていう精神の問題じゃないわかんないけど。恐れ入ります。まあ、ハードっていうか、毎日働いてますよ。なんだろう、YouTuber だからさ、これ本業ですって感じですね。だから、いろいろ、アプリのダウンロードみんな大丈夫メールしてとかさ、そういうプライベートのところもあるし、それでその動画とかさ、いろいろやってるんですけれども、自分でできるから大丈夫だよ。よろしくお願いしますね。デジタルのオフィスだよね。教室っていうかわからんけど、でも俺の仕事って、こうやって君にちょっと、ミキでもね、ちょっとだけ手伝うのがもう十分だよね。だから、よろしくお願いしますね。It was fun talking, And yeah, thank you. I appreciate the agreement and the time here. But seriously though, that's what I'm really working on is all the videos. And so I'm more focused explicitly on that because when they talk about achieving your goals, they really say you have to stop doing everything and focus on your goals. And so I'm like, oh, I just need to stop. Like the review for this, the live stream, like the t-shirts, like there's a lot of things that I want to do, but you have to do the thing that matters the most and you have to do it sooner than later. So I'm like, oh yeah, no, making the video is kind of, really important. And so it's not just the video, but it's a series of videos, right? And so if you look at like my career on YouTube, a lot of those old videos are just like, they could be better, and everything. Like there's a lot to do. There's so many things to do, but I'm not going to waste my time doing stuff that doesn't make sense. So, forgive me if I continue to do the videos about the famous people, because, that gets the clicks. But I just know that with my time that I have to do this unscripted for as many people as possible to show, the truth. Like this is literally how it's done. This is not AI. This is not scripted. This is not a classroom. I am not a teacher. This is not happening. Like all the real lessons are outside in the real world with real people. So get out there. So with that advice to you guys, get out there, take it easy, have a good day, talk to as many people as you can, and use my beautiful dictionary or English HD to make any flashcards and, take any lessons if you need to, because that's what it's there for, just in case. So guys, have a good evening. I appreciate you, or a good day. Have a good day. And I will talk to you guys next week. I will see you soon. And peace out. Later, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good one. And just checking the Zoom. And good night. Bye-bye.